10 decisions, 1 KO slash TKO win, and 1 submission win. This is what UFC Fight Night in Baku produced. Casuals are gonna say it was a mid card. Hardcore fans are gonna say it was a good card. They will forever argue. You just gotta pick her side. I think considering we only had 2 finishes, it was a pretty fun card overall with some pretty competitive matchups. Not gonna lie. I feel like we did have some robberies though in this card and some very questionable things that happened in one fight specifically. But it is what it is, guys. It's out of our control. But anyway, guys, let's go over the entire card and how Jamal Hill got destroyed by Khalil Rountree. But before that, let's start with the first fight between Hamdi and Mohamed Usman. I got this pick incorrect. I really thought Hamdi was going to be able to get this fight. It was a pretty decent fight, to be honest. Usman controlled the range with his jab pretty well. Hamdi had some nice leg kicks that were very damaging, but he kind of not used those throughout the fight. Hamdi had him stunned at the end of that first round, and he did a pretty good job not trying to rush the finish because, again, it's heavyweight. Anything can happen. And everything that landed for Hamdi was doing damage. However, the second round was way better for Usman. He was committing to his strikes, and he was finally landing, you know. It was 19-19 going into that third round. And then Usman did an amazing job in the third round by circling around. But to be honest, I think he was running. It was pretty annoying to watch, but he picked up the pace in the second and third round, and Hamdi didn't have an answer whatsoever. So moving on, guys. Moving on to the next fight, we had Tagir Ulanbekov going up against Azat Maksum. What an amazing fight this was! It had some crazy exchanges, some fun wrestling scrambles. It had some very fun clinching moments, and they both mixed in strikes with takedown attempts. Maksum was freaking great in this fight. He had really good takedown defense. He got some nice takedowns of his own. Ulanbekov was landing some nasty combos, and he was landing the better strikes in my opinion. But man, that 30-27 judging is crazy. And then the fence craft that he had was crazy too. He should have gotten a point deducted for that, to be honest, because that stopped Azamat from getting his takedown. And I do think that Tagir Ulanbekov won, but not 30-27. It should have been a 29-28 across the board. So I don't think it was a robbery, but Azamat Maksum looked amazing in there. This was a very technical fight, and also it's going to be a problem in this division and if he's able to gain some momentum and get a nice winning streak. And he is 0-2 in the UFC, but they have been to some pretty tough competition, and I think both of them have been in short notice. I got this pick correct. This put me at 1-1 for the night, guys. However, I did not get this pick correct. This next fight between Irina Alekseeva versus Claudia Segula. Dude, Segula pieced up Irina, man. She came out swinging and landing pretty freaking well. Irina had no answer for that simple right hand that Segula was throwing. It was a freaking frustrating fight to watch. Segula executed her plan to perfection. Going into the third, Segula was dominating 2018. And then Irina had nothing in the third round. She's a terrible fighter, man. Cut Irina. She had no defense. So she had some ugly striking, and she didn't have a good plan against Claudia. But yeah, she's butt cheeks. I might be a little mad that I got this pick incorrect. I can't believe I went with Irina. But props to Segula. She did pretty good. Nice win for her. I got this pick incorrect. Moving on, guys, to the next fight. Daria Shalenskova went up against Melissa Mullins. Can't believe I got this pick incorrect as well. The first round was pretty freaking fun with both of them landing a lot of strikes. Daira came in swinging and landing as well, piecing up Melissa Mullins right away. Mullins was getting some momentum after Daira slowed down halfway through the first round, and I thought Melissa had stolen the first round. The second round was very low output. The best strikes of the second was that body shot that Daira landed that folded Melissa Mullins like a pancake. And another 30-27 for Daira is crazy, man. I didn't think Daira dominated Melissa Mullins for a 30-27. But it is what it is. Melissa Mullins, she didn't do enough at the end of the third round, and Daira did just enough to win. So props to her. She got hers back after losing to Melissa Mullins once already. I got this pick incorrect. This put me at 1-3. I freaking started horrible. Moving on, guys, to the next fight. We got Ismail Nurdiyev going up against Park Young. This is a very freaking weird fight, man. It started out great with both fighters landing some nasty shots that had a lot of power, and they were both very freaking tough. I feel like Nardiev was landing the better shots though. However, Nardiev is a cheater, man. 2 freaking eye pokes and an illegal knee. Even if it wasn't intentional, man, I'm glad he did get the point deduction, but the fight should have been stopped, and it should have been a DQ because, like I said, 2 freaking eye pokes and then a grounded opponent, a knee to the freaking face. That's crazy, man. Park ended up getting the win. Props to him. This guy's very freaking gritty, very durable. He outlasted Ismail because he got really tired in that third round where Park just smudged wrestled him and didn't give him any space whatsoever. So nice win for Park. This guy's a gritty fighter, very tough. Was able to outlast Ismail Nurdiev to get a nice unanimous decision win. Sweet guys, moving on to the feature fight of the prelims, we have Ko Seok Young versus Oban Elliott. I freaking called the guys when I say that Ko was gonna pull a nice upset win here. He looked freaking impressive, dude. This was a very one-sided fight. Cole started out controlling the fight with a nice pace and on the ground. He has some freaking nice judo throws throughout the fight. Like I said, it was an impressive start for Cole. And then in that second round, Cole just smothered Elliott on the ground with constant pressure, not losing a single position. And he almost got a few submissions as well. And I just think Oban Elliott had probably the worst 15 minutes of his life. He had nothing for Cole and wasn't able to get out of any position that he got put in. It did look like he was gonna scramble out of some positions, but Cole was just so good and was always one step ahead of Oban. But an impressive UFC debut for Cole. Like I said, guys, I did pretty bad for my picks in this fight night. But so, guys, moving on to the first fight of the main card, we have Muhammad Naimov going up against Bogdan Grad. Naimov got a nice decision win here. That was a pretty boring fight, though. Nothing crazy happened in this fight besides a beautiful spinning heel kick landed from Naimov in the first round. But props to Bogdan Grad, dude. He held on to Muhammad to survive that freaking kick because he was about to get finished. In the first two rounds, guys, the only thing that Grad was really doing was just holding Naimov against the cage. Not really doing much with that. Like I said, pretty boring. Nothing really happened throughout this fight besides that kick in the first round. I got this pick correct, guys. I honestly thought there was going to be a finish in this fight, but it went to a unanimous decision like most of the fights in this card did. But anyway, I got this pick correct. Put me at 4-3 for the night. Moving on to the next fight, we had a banger between Nazim Zadikov and Nicholas Mota. I freaking call this fight too. I knew Nazim was going to win by KO/TKO win. It was a crazy fun fight. And there was finally a finish in this card, man. It was a very interesting first round where Mota let go of Viraja strikes, landing some nasty combos, which I'm pretty sure is what made him gas out. But props to Sadikov, who was able to survive that barrage. And props to the ref, man, for not stopping the fight because Nicholas Mota let go of Viraja strikes. None of them were landing really clean. Nazim was blocking most of the freaking strikes that Mota was throwing. Once Mota finished with his barrage, Nazim looked like nothing had ever happened. But an absolute barn burner of a fight between these guys. It had crazy output, no defense whatsoever. And then eventually, Nazim, not giving up, found that nasty right hook for the KO win. Very freaking violent from Nazim. He got some nasty elbows in there as well. Great home win for him. And I got this pick correct. This put me at 5-3 for the night, guys. Moving on to the next fight, we had another banger between Tafif Musayev and Miktabek Orolbai. He pulled a nice submission win via Kimura. He freaking looked good in there, and it was a great comeback win for him. Orolbai was just too big for Musayev on the ground. He was able to do whatever he wanted with him on the ground. Then I called it. Orolbai was going to start the fight with constant pressure on the ground, constantly going for that takedown, wrestling his way into a submission. And I'm glad that he finished the fight as fast as he could because, like I said, his tank hasn't held up the best. But I got this pick correct. This put me at 6-3, guys. I started going on a little win streak with my picks until we went to this next fight between Curtis Blades and Rizan Kuniev. Blades got a split decision win here, and I think this was a robbery. It was a decent scrap. Blades got a super easy takedown in the first round, and then the rest of the round, he just controlled Kuniev. Basically, kind of just hugging him, though. No answer from Kuniev. But once he got freed, they had some decent exchanges on the feet where Kuniev got the better strikes towards the end of that round. The second round was way better for Kuniev. He looked way more comfortable in there, more confident, and he freaking pieced up Blades, bro. He was landing some very nice combos, gained a lot of confidence, and I feel like that's what was turning the tide a little bit for Rizan Kuniev. However, that third round, it was super close for both of these fighters. I just thought Rizan Kuniev got the better strikes in that third round as well. However, the refs didn't see it that way, and they gave Curtis Blades the split decision win, which I disagree with, but it is what it is, guys. I got this pick incorrect. This put me at 6-4 for the night. A fight, however, that I don't disagree with the judges' scorecard was the Rafael Fiziev fight versus the Ignacio Bonjamondes. Dude, Fiziev completely outclassed Bahamondes out there. It was a pretty fun fight to watch. It was a great comeback win for Fiziev as well. First round, both fighters were kind of just feeling each other out, with both staying very technical on the feet, switching stances a bunch. However, Fiziev landed the better strikes in the first round, and then the second round was pretty similar to the first, but Fiziev landing some very nice takedowns. And however, Bahamondes was able to get up both of the times, but that's because Fiziev just let him get up. Fiziev looked freaking amazing out there, even though Bahamondes had the range advantage. He wasn't able to control that very well because Fiziev was dodging most of Ignacio Bahamondes. Actually, I think all of Ignacio Bahamondes spinning head kicks. The third round was a little closer. Ignacio Bahamondes had some better moments in there, but Fiziev ended that fight with the better moments and destroying Ignacio Bahamondes on the ground. And I totally agree with the 30-27 that Rafael Fiziev got in this fight. Bahamondes is still a beast. He's still a freaking dog. He's still freaking good. He showed some pretty good moments in there. However, I think he needs to start learning how to use his range because he's a very tall and lanky fighter. And he needs to learn how to control the range, especially against a shorter and smaller fighter. But he doesn't need to fix anything too crazy after he goes back and tweaks a little bit of stuff that he needs to fix. But yeah, I got this pick incorrect as well. I honestly thought Bahamondes was going to be able to finish Rafael Fiziev, but no way he was going to lose in his home turf. And props to Fiziev for proving me wrong that he's not washed. But anyway, guys, moving on to the main event of the evening, Jamal Hill versus Khalil Rountree. This was a very low output fight and very underwhelming for sure, but Khalil Rountree did an amazing job. The first round, they were just kind of filling each other out, with Rountree doing a little bit more. The second round was very similar, but the story of this round was the leg kicks that Rountree was landing on that right calf of Jamal Hill. And Hill was landing some strikes here and there, but nothing too crazy. The third round was all of Rountree. Same with the fourth. In the third, he got two knockdowns. And then the fifth round was the best round for Jamal Hill, but it wasn't enough to win the round either. I can't believe this guy was surprised that he got 50-45, man. Because he freaking did. He got destroyed. Good job from Khalil Rountree. He was controlling the range very well. He was going in, landing some strikes, getting out, waiting for Jamal Hill to commit to something and counter strike. And like he said in the interview, that's what his game plan was the entire time, and he executed it to perfection, outclassing Jamal Hill. Jamal Hill couldn't get going with his boxing, especially because Khalil Rountree was landing those nasty leg kicks. I feel like that's what took away Jamal Hill's power and ability to move back and forth and close the range between him and Khalil Rountree. He wasn't able to cut Khalil Rountree's movements either, again, because of the leg kicks that he withstood at the beginning of the fight. But good win for Khalil Rountree to get back to the winning column. I got this pick correct. As for Jamal Hill, I don't know what's next for him. I mean, obviously he's going to have to fight someone down lower. So we'll see how that goes. Probably welcoming someone into the rankings, most likely, or a top 15 fighter. But yeah, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. This concludes my post-fight breakdown on UFC Fight Night in Baku. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and we will see you guys in the next video, which is going to be a super exciting one. International Fight Week is coming up, so stay tuned in for my next video, which will be up here pretty soon. But yeah, guys, until next time, adios.